It was a stunner. Newt Gingrich won South Carolina in a landslide. He beat Mitt Romney, who was leading all the polls at the beginning of the week. He got 40% of the vote. Romney got 28%, and the others were far behind. Good morning to you, Mr. Speaker, and I'm going to start with the obvious question. How did you pull this off?
Well, I think I didn't pull it off. I think the people of South Carolina did. They wanted somebody who was tough enough and bold enough to take on Obama because they really want to beat Obama. They also wanted somebody who was committed to jobs and economic growth because, frankly, South Carolina is really hurting. And the Obama administration's made it worse with their war against Boeing and the National Labor Relations Board and other things they've been doing. In addition, I think South Carolinians were the first state to really understand how liberal Governor Romney's record was as the governor of Massachusetts. And I think there was he lost, I think, probably 15 or 20 points over the course of the 2 weeks as people began to realize that he'd been pro-choice, pro-gun control, pro-tax increase in a whole range of areas that, despite his advertising and his, pretending, it was clear that he was way to the left of South Carolinians.
Mr. Speaker, no question, he has a lot of money, he has a lot of organization, but I think most people would agree you won this one on the debate stage. I just want to ask you this. Do you think, in retrospect, ABC did you a favor by dumping that interview with your ex-wife out right in the middle of all this?
Well, it was so outrageously dishonest. Both of my daughters, Kathy and Jackie, signed a letter asking the president of ABC to not release it. And just said it was totally inappropriate. And I think what you saw was that the people of South Carolina agreed that it was totally inappropriate. My life in that sense is open. I'm running for president. People can criticize, question, challenge. But the way they did it was almost as though ABC were an arm of the Romney campaign, deliberately trying to set the stage and rig the game. And what people rejected was that whole premise. And it was particularly powerful in the CNN debate when they picked it up, and people just repudiated. I mean, I was amazed how intense the feeling was that night when people just repudiated that kind of trash in a presidential campaign.
Last night, Mitt Romney suggested that you're too similar to President Obama to run against him. Listen to what he said last night.
In recent weeks, the choice within our party has also come into stark focus. President Obama has no experience running a business and no experience running a state. Our party can't be led to victory by someone who also has never run a business and never run a state.
So this morning he adds to that and says that you are just unsuitable to be the candidate, or words to that effect. I guess I get your response here.
Well, one or two more defeats, and who knows what he's going to say. Look, I have a long level of experience at something called the government of the United States. I have a long period of experience at national defense and national security. I am the only person in this race who has helped balance the federal budget 4 straight times. I'm the only person in this race who led the effort and negotiated with President Clinton to get welfare reform, the first big entitlement reform of our lifetime. I don't know what, Governor Romney may be running for CEO. I'm running for president. President of the United States has to understand the government of the United States. Barack Obama clearly didn't. And candidly, I doubt if Governor Romney would. In terms of business experience, for the last 12 years, I've run 4 small businesses. They're businesses that require you to meet a payroll, to have customers, to bring in the money. May not seem like a big deal to Governor Romney, but for millions of small business owners, they'll understand that Newt Gingrich, as a small business owner, really understands exactly what they go through in a way that I think sometimes big investors and big managers don't understand. So I'm happy to have all the small business owners in America understand that I do know what they have to go through to meet a payroll. And we'll let Governor Romney tout his experience, which is very different and at a very different level.
Why do you think he's had trouble getting his message across? You seem to have made some connection with folks down there in South Carolina, but he still seems to be having some problem. Why do you think that is?
Look, I think the number one thing people look for in difficult times is authenticity. They want somebody who is what he seems to be, somebody who's comfortable with himself, somebody who is able to have force in what he's saying or she's saying because they actually believe it. And I think Governor Romney's core problem was that he governed as a Massachusetts moderate, which by the standards of Republican primary voters is a liberal. And he can't relax and be candid. You know, Romney Care is the precursor to Obamacare. He can't admit that. He had tax increases and ranked 47th in job creation, 4th from the bottom. He can't admit that. He was pro-gun control and had a 400% increase on taxes on guns. He can't admit that. He was pro-choice functionally no matter what he said about his views. He had Planned Parenthood, the largest abortion provider in the country, written into law in Romney Care. He appointed pro-abortion judges. Romney Care includes a tax-paid abortion. You know, he can't admit that. So you end up with a guy who's, I think, a very good salesman, very much wants to sell, but he has a really weak product. And so I think he's been dancing on eggs trying to figure out how to find a version of Romney that'll work. And I think the more he dances, the more people go, you know, give me the, you know, I have flaws, I have weaknesses, I've had a long career. But the fact is, what you see really is what you get. And I'm prepared to stand toe-to-toe with Barack Obama and debate him, I think, successfully this fall. And that's the key to beating him with his billion-dollar war chest. And I think in South Carolina it began to become really clear that if you want to beat Barack Obama, that Newt Gingrich is the only person who has the background, the experience, and the ability to get on the stage and drive home a conservative message with authenticity.
Are you willing to go so far as to say he's just a fake or a phony?
Well, look, you and I went down this road once before, Bob. I will let you, as a very sophisticated senior analyst and reporter, draw your conclusions. But if you take what I just said, which are facts, it does show you why he keeps sort of bouncing around trying to find a message. You know, I don't do that. I've had the same message for many years. Reagan once said that he didn't change, but the world came around. I have been saying things like this. I've written 24 books. I've given lots of speeches. Clifton and I have made 7 documentary films. It's all the same pattern. It's all the same core beliefs. We believe in America. We believe in free enterprise. We believe in national security. We believe in core values that have made this country great. None of that has changed in my career, which goes back, you know, for almost 40 years.
Mr. Speaker, I've got a proposal for you. We're going to be in Miami next week, broadcasting Face the Nation, a special 1-hour edition. If I could get Mitt Romney to come sit down at the table with us, would you come on and debate him for the full hour, just the two of you?
Will this be your first hour-long Face the Nation?
Yes, sir.
Well, listen, I have to consult with R.C. Hammond, as you know, but I will tell you, I personally would like to do that. I have a hunch that if you can get Governor Romney to agree, the three of us to sit down together next Sunday, it'll be perfect, and I suspect we'd be happy to come and do it.
All right. Well, we'll look for you then, and I'll call him up right now. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker. Congratulations.